My name is Giulio Ferrari, and I was sexually abused by this guy on the screen right there. His name is Maury Cruz, and when I came out with my video on February 18th, several victims started joining me, and they made videos too. And because the second victim made a video that really encouraged the third one, and so on and so forth, we are up to 47 victims now. 47 victims. We have sent this PR to multiple Brazilian channels with no success. And recently, there have been a couple of really big cases of sex abuse, including one eerily similar to ours, but with athletes, and Olympic athletes at that. And that received a lot of attention. Another one was with soccer players, junior soccer players. That received a lot of attention. I'm guessing that because we are not famous athletes, we won't get as much attention. But so far, none of the big channels have not even reached out to us. I mean, we've reached out to them. They haven't contacted back. And in off, I've talked to a couple of reporters who told me, look, we were forbidden of talking about this. This guy's too big. And when they say too big, they mean he's the medium to the stars. A lot of the stars at Globo, the biggest channel in, I think it's in Latin America, probably one of the biggest in the world, I would venture to say. He is the medium to a lot of their stars, and he's also the medium to a lot of judges and politicians and some really big people. I felt the political pressure. I mean, I felt there were judges and prosecutors that came to his defense online on Facebook. And how do you think that makes victims feel, especially in a country that's still run by that kind of caste system, where when you're a judge, you're above a lot of people, and people still feel that way. So anyhow. I've sent this to multiple channels there, and talking to two of these reporters. One said that he was too big, and the other one was told to not even bring it up anymore, because they were only going to wait only after the DA finished all investigations, and there was something at the other end. That's when they would look at it. The issue we have here is the clock is ticking on how long the Brazilian law allows for sex abuse, for somebody to be exposed for sex abuse. And it's 6 months if you're not a minor. In my case, it was 20 years. But but because he's 70 years old, or he's over 70, that time gets cut in half. So really, we've got a very short period of time to get more victims in, even though 47 is already a pretty huge number. And then we'll be able to, once if he is considered a criminal and go into court, then of course there will be other victims. Other victims can join at that point. But anyhow, we really need to get this out there, because they have restricted these videos in Brazil. They were able to restrict the videos through an injunction, a temporary injunction, and this temporary injunction basically states that Facebook and YouTube are fighting to keep these illegal there, or to keep these open over there. But the injunction says that because I'm destroying his image, this is just to make sure that I stop destroying his image until things are clarified. However, that's not how it would work over here in America. They wouldn't be able to bring videos down from several victims. I mean, we're talking, if you're talking one crazy guy saying, hey, I'm Trump's son, that's one thing. Now, if you have at least, half a dozen victims with videos, and then you have 20 or more victims with that are willing to go on camera, that have gone to the DA. I mean, you just cannot ignore that and just take that down. But that's the problem that we're having there, and that's the biggest issue that I see, the biggest difference I see with Brazil and First Amendment over here is this is really freedom. I know that nobody's going to take this video down, and even if I were talking about the government or whomever, they weren't going to take it down, as long as, of course, there's no hate speech. And as you can see, I'm being a pretty cool, chill gentleman here, considering that I'm sitting right next to this guy. But I'm 38 now. I've solved all my psychological issues. Now I'm just out to really make my kids proud. Be able to tell my kids that hey, Dad did something about this. I do not want my kids growing up in a world where they're scared, they're afraid of coming out against an abuser. And I lead by example. And so I really want them to see that you can come out and that you can fight, and that if you have the truth, you can win. And that's what we're doing. We're fighting with the truth to the end. And that's why I wanted to ask the American media and American population to share this video, and we'd like to tell our story. This has only been possible. This story has only been possible to come about thanks to the fact that I am in the United States. So I think that at that point it becomes an American story too, and it's a human story. It's a human story. It's a story about people. It's a story about abuse. It's a story about psychopaths, and they work the same exact way everywhere. I studied about psychopaths here, American psychopaths, and I was able to catch one in Brazil, and show people how a psychopath works, the modus operandi, and now he is falling. And so again, this is not I was asked by one reporter American reporter, when I called and to tell him about this, is, well, what does this have to do with North Texas? Well, the fact that I'm here should have already something to do with it, but this has to do with, again, humanity. So, and I know that there's when there's humanity involved, it doesn't matter if you're Texan or American. That's what makes our country great, is our hearts expand throughout the world. So help me and use the hashtag metoo and mentoo, hashtag mentoo, because that's another reality. All of the victims of this guy are guys like me. So and right now Brazil has a case with 42 boys that were part of the Olympic team there. Eerily similar stories. But there was the coach, over here was the doctor. There it was an athlete with trusting a coach. Here it was a young kid trusting his spiritual leader. But the story, the modus operandi is the same all the time. So let's stop this abuse. And please subscribe to the channel. I promise other videos won't be this long, but I want to keep you guys informed on what's going on in this case in Brazil, so we can continue fighting it together. Thank you.